Hello and welcome to the Venue Success Podcast. I am your host, Tirzah Caffee, and today I am doing an introduction for season 2 of the Venue Success Podcast, and I'm so excited for this season. I want to also apologize to so many of you that applied to be on season 1, and I wasn't able to get to you, but I felt kind of a little urgency to get into season 2 because of the fact that in real time we are in engagement season right now. And I felt that it would be really helpful and important to bring some tools to you in this next season. And so I'm going to introduce kind of what we're going to be talking about here in just a moment. But you know what it's time for. It's Crazy Stories with Tirzah, because people have lost their minds. So today is a short story because it would be probably inappropriate to elaborate too much on this specific story, but it was crazy enough that it needed to make its way to the podcast. So we had a client. They were really wonderful people, but they warned us that some of their friends might be a bit odd, and we came to find that out ourselves, and they weren't wrong. Let me just tell you that. It was a weird group of people, to be sure. But we were doing our normal mojo before the wedding gets started. The guests usually arrive 30 minutes beforehand, but there was this one particular guest that arrived quite early. So we were still bustling around the property, getting those last minute things done, and my facilities manager / banquet manager was coming out of our staff entrance, and it's in the main part of the historic home that we own. And so he was coming out the kitchen door that was very clearly like labeled staff only, whatever. And as he was coming out the door, there was a guest that was trying to come in, and she got alarmed that someone was opening the door, and so she stepped back really quickly and tripped on her dress. Or her heels. We're not sure exactly what she tripped on, but she did definitely an overreaction when he opened the door, and she fell backwards. But when she fell backwards, I mean, how many of you have ever tripped before? And, you know, usually the thought is to kind of get up fairly quickly, right? Well, instead, she decides to fall backwards and put her legs straight, like just straight up in the air. Her dress falls down around her waist, right? Just falls down onto the ground. Her legs are straight up in the air. Imagine this picture. Maybe you shouldn't. And she had locked eyes with my male banquet manager. So she knew it was a dude, right? So she falls on her back, legs up in the air. Totally no underwear on. And she just stays like that for an awkward amount of time. And then she looks up at the guy, you know, all the lady parts showing. And she's like, well, are you going to help me up? It's like, he goes, no. He's like, are you okay? And she's like, well, I think so. Well, anyway, all the rest of the night, she's just flirting with my banquet manager and limping around. We're giving her ice. She's talking about how hurt she is. And we're like, this girl is a loose cannon for sure. Like, we need to keep an eye on her. So we made sure like to record her dancing and being perfectly fine. So she would go dance and be like cutting a rug, and then would come back and she's like, my ankle hurts. Anyway, so it was the following day, actually, she sent us an email and said that she was considering legal action against us that she was contacting her lawyer because she was going to seek some damages for her ankle and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, I don't remember all that she said, but she basically threatened legal action against us. And we were like, listen, you tripped on your own shoe. We didn't do anything, like, whatever. So we contacted the bride, and we also asked her, like, did you go to the hospital? Like, is there something wrong? You know, obviously she had not gone to the hospital. And we contacted the bride and we're like, hey, this is what's going on. And the bride was like, I actually called the bride and she was like, Tirzah, she's crazy. She's a crazy person. I'll take care of it. And so I don't know what happened. We never heard from them again. We never had any lawyers sending us letters or anything like that. But it was pretty crazy. So anyway, that's my crazy story for today. You never know, like, the wild things that could happen at a wedding. I mean, there's so many stories. So many stories. I was actually telling my husband the other day, I'm like, will I ever run out of crazy stories with Tirzah? And he's like, how is that possible? But I think at some point, my mind just kind of like purges them out because I'm like, you can't hold on to everything. So I am committed to continue digging into the recesses of this brain to bring crazy stories to you. So one of these days, I do want to start doing, like, sharing some of your crazy stories too. So time will come for you to write in your crazy stories, and I'll start sharing those as well. So let's get into talking about season 2. So I also have to say, like, this podcast is not like overly produced. Obviously, like, I'm just sitting in one of our spare rooms that we've kind of turned into my podcast studio because my kids are, flying the nest. But when I started this, like, I was curious if anyone would even be interested in hearing what I have to say, right? And I've been so blown away at how many listeners have been enjoying it. And I was just at the wedding MBA and met many people who came up to me, and that was the first thing that they said was how much they love listening to the podcast. So thank you for your support. Thank you for just cheering me on along the way too, because this truly is like my way to give back to the wedding industry that has meant so much to me. And I really hope that it's helpful to you. So speaking of helpful to you, season 2 really is going to lean in hard into giving you some connections with some amazing resources. And so the title of season 2 is Tools of the Trade, the Pros Behind the Process. And let me just kind of soapbox for a moment on why I feel like this is so important. I coach a lot of people all across the country. I have my free coaching group. If you're not in there, you should be in there. There's no reason not to. It's on Facebook. You could go over to my Instagram, Tirzah_the venue coach, and there is a direct link to get into my Facebook group. It's totally free. I do free coaching in there once a week. And one of the things that I see a lot of people struggling with is that they're trying to do everything on their own, and they're just throwing noodles at the wall. They don't even know where to start. And it slows you down so much when you don't know where to put your energies, and you're wasting time doing things that really aren't going to help move you forward in your business. And so I think that's one of the things that I am seeing you all need so much is like, where do I start? There's so many new venues out there. I think a lot of our listeners are very new, and they're just like looking for some help. And so I want to give you resources that are going to help you move forward and not waste your time. Because when you waste time, honestly, you've got 3 to 5 years to make it as a venue owner. And if you can't start making profit in that amount of time, you probably need to sell your venue. And I know that that's probably a really strong statement, but most of us don't have the flexibility to not make profit for that long. There are a few of you that I know that were given properties by your parents, or you built your property because your husband is in construction and you were able to build it at really low cost. But a lot of us, me included, have multiple millions of dollars of debt that we have to make money to pay our mortgage. And so it's important for you to be aware of what those specific things are that you need to have in place to make money. And so that's what this season is going to be all about. I am not opening invitation for just anyone to be on this season. So if you're listening to this and you're like, oh, I want a piece of this pie, like, probably not. Because everyone that's on this season is going to be vetted and hand selected by me, so that you know that these people that I'm bringing onto the podcast are quality businesses, quality human beings, people with character and integrity that are doing great things in the industry and not just in it to capitalize, if that makes sense. I mean, we're all business owners, right? Like, I don't mind some of that, but I want to, there's a lot of people out there in the industry that don't love the wedding industry. They just see it as a cash cow and they are trying to make a quick dollar. And so I have a lot of concerns about how many of those types of people are in the wedding industry right now. So my commitment to you is that I'm going to bring people to this stage that I know are doing great things and have resources that'll be helpful for you. So anyway, nonetheless, who are some of these people that I'm going to be bringing on? So I want to talk through different marketing channels for you. I want to talk through SEO. I think that's really, really important. There might be some occasional soapboxing on the Knot and Wedding Wire, and I really feel like it's important to talk to you about that because a lot of you are spending thousands of dollars a month just flushing money down the drain, and I can't, in my integrity, not speak out against what is happening over there. So that's going to happen in the season for sure. I do want to talk about ads and how I want to show you some people that are doing incredible things with ads. I'm going to introduce you to some people that do social media because a lot of us feel very overwhelmed by that. And so I want to give you a resource for that as well. And yeah, so those are kind of some of the big stones that we're going to cover in this season. So sales, marketing, and also some resources for different platforms that you could use even with your clients. So that's a whole nother category as well. So I'm still kind of getting all of my ducks in a row with who I'm going to have and how we're going to lay out the season, but I'm really, really excited about it, and you're not going to want to miss a single episode. So my commitment to you is to remain my authentic self, and that we are not going to overly produce this show. That's not what it's about. We're not here to take advantage of people, hardworking people in the wedding industry, but I want to see you be successful. I want to see you make loads of money so that you can have life-changing legacy impact on your family. Like, I think that that is such a beautiful thing, to be able to build a business that could change your family for generations to come. And I mean, how cool would that be to be able to be making so much money in your business that you could do like my husband and I have done? And I don't say this to toot our horn, but multiple years in a row, we've been able to buy cars for people in need. Just buy them a car. And again, I don't say that to brag, but we wouldn't be able to do that if it wasn't for the success that we've had at our venue. And I want that for you because I think having more money just amplifies who you are at your core even more. If you are a giving, kind person and you make money, you're going to become more giving and kind, right? And generous. And if you're a selfish jerk and you make money, you'll become more of a selfish jerk, right? So I firmly believe, again, that what we are doing here in the wedding industry is great work. It's so amazing. We get to build things from the ground up. We as entrepreneurs, like, it's so cool that we get to chase this dream, that we don't have to have a boss breathing down our neck and telling us what to do with our life and dictating the terms for our life, that you get to do this. It's so cool. Like, it makes me so happy seeing so many of you be successful. I have a beautiful client out in California, and I have to share, like, the joy that I feel that they are a brand new business and they're completely booked for 2025, and they are blown away. Like, in such a short amount of time, they are blown away that they are completely booked up. But let me tell you, so many of you are struggling because you're thinking that you could do it all on your own, and you can't. And that really is what season 2 is going to be so much about, is that a lot of us are failing, a lot of you, not us, are failing in this industry because you aren't spending money in wise places, and you're actually not even willing to spend money at all, and you need to. You need to invest in coaches or courses, in the people that know how to market, the people that know how to do an effective website build. And when you do some of this stuff on your own, yeah, maybe you're talented to do it on your own, but most of you aren't. And so you need to stop having this mindset, this scarcity mindset where you're like, I can't spend that money on here, here, and here because I got to hold tightly to every penny that I have. But you have to spend money to make money. You have to spend money to make money. You have to spend money for the right people that know how to market your business. And you don't have the time probably, or even talents to do all of these things. Most of us are only talented in like certain areas, and we need to stay focused on those areas that we excel in and stop trying to do things that we're just not skilled to do. I've seen many of your websites, and it's very obvious that you did it yourself. And you should spend money hiring someone to make a beautiful website for you that is Google happy, and that it's done correctly, even on the back end. It could be beautiful on the front end. I had one like that, and the back end was a total disaster, and Google hated me. So when I hired my SEO girl, she was like, yeah, great website, but behind the scenes, like bad, bad. So anyway, I'm really excited to bring these pros to you and share with you the things that I have literally done to build a multi-million-dollar business. So anyway, that is my little introduction to this season. And again, be sure to subscribe to my channel. Be sure, and if you haven't done so and you've been a faithful listener in season 1, be sure that you go and give us a rating wherever you're listening, on Apple Podcast or in Spotify or in any of those places. Be sure and give us a rating. It really helps bring additional eyes on what we're doing. So anyway, so excited for season 2. That's all I have for you today. And hey, listen, if you are a venue owner and you still want to be in the show, you can still apply. We are going to circle back to the venue owner stories in a future season. So go ahead and go look at the notes and in the show notes, and you could see how to apply to be on the show in the future.